So we're...
What did he say?
We'll just start talking when we're good.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cousins Gymnasium, home of the Tufts University Jumbos, for today's NESCAC matchup between the home Tufts Jumbos and the visiting Bates Bobcats. My name is Lucas Johnson. I'm joined alongside by Francis Simmons. Coming into this one, the Bates Bobcats are 8-9 overall with a 1-3 NESCAC record. Tufts, meanwhile, 12-4 overall, 3-1 in NESCAC play. Bates coming off a tough 83-81 loss against Salem State. They're currently losers of 6 of the last 7. Riding out a 3-game losing streak, looking to end that here today. Tufts, on the other hand, coming off a 78-63 loss to Middlebury. That snapped their 9-game winning streak. Francis, as you look at the rosters for both these teams, what do these teams have to do to get back in the win column today?
Well, I think for Bates, the visiting team, ball control has been a huge issue for them. You know, you're in close games, like you mentioned, 83-81. You know, turnovers come back to bite you. And when you're giving up points off turnovers as well, it's going to be hard to win a close game like that. Also, bench production. Bench production has been all over the place. When the bench steps up and scores, they have been a little more fortunate than when they have not. So that's something that Bates wants to pay attention to. And lastly, limiting points in the paint. They gave up 47 points in the paint against Salem State, and the big bodies of Tufts will eat them up if they let them. And on the other hand, with Tufts, rebound. Actually, in that game that broke the 9-game winning streak, they lost the rebounding margin 70-41. And in fact, in conference play, the rebounding margin is negative 2.3. So they're giving up 2.3 more rebounds than they're getting. And then one thing that Tufts must do, and this is a whole thing throughout the season, is playing the whole game. They tend to be a one-half team, and it's really hard to win games, and that's why they're so close, is they either have to come back or they lose a lead. And so moving forward, we'll look at a matchup that's going to be a pretty interesting one between Bobcat Jeff Spellman, who's a sophomore guard. He leads the team with 16.9 points, and in 2018, he has 17.7 per game in the 6 contests they've played. And then on the tough side, KJ Garrett, number 14, is only averaging 20 minutes, but he's scoring 16.8 points per game and 6.8 rebounds. So it's going to be an interesting matchup when they get in the game.
Absolutely. Of course, KJ Garrett was so dynamic last season, mostly coming off the bench for Tufts. Of course, he was injured for a good portion of this season, back healthy and ready to contribute off the bench today. Team's getting ready to jump this one up and get us started. Here we go. Tufts wins the tip, and we are underway from Cousins Gymnasium. Everett Dayton, the ball handler for Tufts, sends it over to Lapham.
Bates coming out in a man here.
Racy, little spin move in the paint, back for Lapham. Ball movement by Tufts. Everett Dayton now looking for help. This is Vincent Pace for 3. He starts the game off with a triple for Tufts.
And that was great ball movement. Something that Tufts has struggled with this season is getting the ball moving and being a little stagnant. And that was a great start of the first possession.
Bates working around the perimeter. This is Gilpin. Ball movement in the corner for Bates now. Little flip pass. Nick Lynch knocks it down. Bates is on the board.
And it looks like Tufts there came out a little matchup zone. We'll see if they play around with that a little bit.
Here's Pace underneath now. Off the window, won't go. Follow up. Pass finds Racy, and he's fouled. He'll head to the line for a 1-on-1.
Yeah, and Bates doesn't necessarily have a size advantage in this game. And so what they must do is put a body on Tufts. And Tufts is already doing a good job of hitting the boards and one of my keys to the game. So we'll see if they can continue doing so.
In and out on the first for Racy. And he splits a pair at the line. Early 4-2 lead for the Jumbos.
That's something Tufts has to focus on, too. They're only shooting 64% from the free throw line on the season, so they need to start knocking down some free throws, especially in these close games that they've been having.
Yeah, absolutely. Free throws, a really vital key to the game. In any NBA game, we were talking earlier about the Lakers game last night, in which I believe they shot 2 of 14 from the line. Still managed to get a win somehow. There's a nice little step-back move there by Strickland. He knocks it down. Pretty move there. Tufts on the other end here. Pass at the feet of Racy. He's able to recover. Vincent Pace drives, puts it up. Off the mark. Rebounded there by Mortimer. Mortimer looking to go coast to coast off the window and in. Pretty move there by the freshman.
Absolutely. He saw the lane. He had a step on his defender. Used his hips really well. Just kind of seal him off there.
Savage for Lapham. Here's Dayton back to Lapham. Lapham cross court.
And Racy's working hard down there to get in front and post up. The thing is, he's just not, Tufts is not looking into him. And once they start looking into him, that's what happened on the first possession when they got that open three, is they must go in and then back out and try to stop forcing.
First turnover of the game there committed by Savage. Up top now. Lynch. Now Strickland. Feed it in for Mortimer. I don't think he realized how much space he had. Still able to convert on that possession, though. Tufts looking to push now. Underneath pass intended for Racy, intercepted by Bates. And here come the Bobcats. Gilpin. Now Spellman. Strickland lays it off for Mortimer. His three rattles out. Unlucky bounce there.
It just seems like Tufts is a step slow on their help defense. They need to get it going.
Oh, very pretty move there by Vincent Pace. Between the legs all the way into the paint. Off the window and in for two. That's Nick Lynch knocking down the long two-pointer.
And that's the second time that's happened this game, where hand down, man down, where we haven't gotten a hand in the face of the offender.
Savage off the mark on the triple. Long rebound out to Tufts. Dayton on the drive, off the window and in for two. Spellman looking to drive, off the window. He gets the roll.
Bates is really doing a nice job here of curling hard, and Tufts just seems to be on their hips. And it's not Tufts' fault. They're just really, Bates is doing a great job curling.
Open triple there, Savage off the mark. Long rebound off the foot of Tufts. Out of bounds, Bates will have possession as we have our first substitution of the game now. Out of the game comes Nick Gilpin, and in is Max Hummel. Here is Spellman. Ball moving, open three for Mortimer. Off the mark, fight for the board, and we're gonna have an over the back going against Bates. Bates out to a quick 12-8 lead here. Just over 4 minutes gone as KJ Garrett comes in the game for Tufts.
Well, let's see if he can give them a little spark that they need on the offensive end. But Tufts also, too, on the defensive end, must step up and start moving their feet and getting around those curls and those picks that Bates has been killing them on.
KJ Garrett, the third leading scorer for Tufts, averaging 13.8 a game. With the ball in his hands now. Tufts working around the perimeter. And here's Garrett. He's stripped by Bates. Here comes Spellman. Going coast to coast. Easy layup there. Good offense, defense there by Bates. Pace puts it up. Off the mark, KJ Garrett with the follow-up slam. And there's that spark that you were talking about.
Especially we have a pretty good crowd here today in Cousins. And so, when you get dunks like that, it definitely ignites the crowd.
He's a high flyer, that's for sure. Also has a good perimeter game as well. A really solid all-around player. Strickland puts up the three, puts it in. Pretty move there by Strickland. And able to knock it down with a man in his face. Tufts looking to push on the other end. Savage fouled on the floor, no shot.
And there's nothing you could do about that Bates shot down there. I mean, that's just beautiful basketball.
Nick Lynch comes out of the game now, as is Mortimer. A couple substitutions for Bates. Lapham gets in. Quick shot for Savage is good.
And he needed that.
This is Galloway, newly entered into the game, as well as Coyne. Spellman, going to get by Lapham. Says Coyne. Little floater, won't go. Rebounded by Vinny Pace. Savage floats it up. He's trying to feed Luke Rogers. Said Spellman with the ball up ahead now. In the corner, wide open three for Hummel is off the mark.
And I know that was off, but that was a beautiful extra pass made. It's just beautiful. Bates play beautiful basketball right now. That's why they have the lead.
Here's Lapham. Going to drive in the paint, puts up the shot. Won't go, but he's fouled. He's heading to the free throw line.
And Tufts really needs to start hitting free throws. They've been to the line a few times. Tufts doesn't have a single team foul, so Bates is not getting to the line, but Tufts really is. But they've been converting probably about 50%.
Yeah, we've seen Tufts struggle a bit from the perimeter, but when they attack, it seems like their shots are falling or they're drawing fouls. But as you mentioned there, free throw is so key as Lapham misses his first. Couple subs now for Tufts. Q Midgen into the game. So Lapham splits a pair.
And Miles Bauer will now check in for Lapham.
Bowser pretty solid from the perimeter this season. He's 8 for 18 from behind the arc. This is Hummel. Spellman top of the key now, driving on Garrett. He defers, nice pass there to Hummel. His shot is good.
That's just beautiful basketball. And Tufts defense doesn't do anything wrong. It's just better offense right now. Well-coached team.
Of course, we were talking about Spellman as being their leading scorer for Bates, as we have an offensive foul going against KJ Garrett there. Spellman averaging 16.9 points a game. But as we're seeing, he's really distributing the ball well. He's averaging 2.6 assists per game this season.
Yeah, and he didn't like that call. I think that was the right call. Number 4 for the Bobcats, Brandon Galloway, was able to get in there and really stay firm, and I think it was the right call.
Cody Greenhall into the game as well for Bates. Spellman works around the Galloway screen, puts up the free throw line jumper, knocks it down.
That crossover was deadly there. He's a great player. He's a sophomore looking for great things to come.
Bowser to Savage. Here's Kuya Midgen. Savage underneath. Rogers had it stripped. Bates unable to save it. Tufts will have it at the baseline.
And there was a slight hesitation there by Rogers kind of to see what was around. When you get the ball under the basket in that situation, you got to go straight up with it, because if not, hands, especially when you catch it low, hands from shorter people are able to get in and strip it like they did there. He had an easy layup.
Gracie and Vinny Pace back into the game for Tufts. Bowser gets in. Here's Pace getting the screen from Racy. Underneath Racy, wide open, off the window and in for 2. Tufts needed that one for sure.
Absolutely, and that's what they need to be doing, moving the ball inside out and getting easy shots off.
Here's Spellman working on Bowser. Twisting in midair, unable to convert. Tufts with the board. Here comes Bowser. Bowser splitting defenders off the window and in. Pretty move there.
That was a great crossover there. He's so quick and has a great first step that once he's past you, there's no way you're going to catch up to him.
Here's Coyne. Spellman. Eli Frater. Coyne with 8 to shoot. Tried to squeeze that pass in for Brandon Galloway. A little bit too much on it. Galloway was out of position there.
And that's the first Bobcat turnover. It's like they were listening to me when I was giving my keys to the game.
That's right.
That's their first. In fact, it's almost been the inverse. Tufts has been turning the ball over a lot, and it's led to easy layups on the other end. So Tufts actually needs to take care of the ball, kind of move around and see if they can chip away and make this a closer game.
Cody Greenhall replaces Spellman. Vincent Pace drives all the way off the window and in, +1. He'll have an opportunity to make this a 3-point possession for Tufts.
And that was a really smart play there. Once he had the defender beat, he took his time and sealed him off and made sure that he was on his hip in order to get to the easy layup. What a beautiful basketball. And Vinny Pace is, very seasoned, and he just always seems to be making right decisions. He doesn't seem to be forcing it. I think basketball kind of just comes to him, and that's what makes him a special player.
Poor play there by Bates. As a missed free throw and a rebound there by Nick Lynch. He was trying to feed it up court for Greenhall, but Greenhall wasn't expecting that ball. It goes off his leg.
And that's the second turnover in a row. Bates needs to just calm down and kind of work together here and stop if they don't want to lose this lead.
KJ Garrett puts up the long 2. Off the mark. Over the back call going against Tufts.
Fouls called on Tufts, number 11, Miles Bowser, his first.
Bowser picks up his first personal.
And Tufts, as of now, is winning the defensive rebound margin, so that's a good sign for them. They also have 3 offensive rebounds to Bates' 0.
Here's Frater. Good ball movement by Bates. Corner 3 by Hummel is good.
And that's just beautiful basketball. You can tell Bates is a well-coached team. They work well together. They're playing great basketball right now. This doesn't look like a 1-3 team.
Bowser in the corner, Kuyumidjian. Underneath, KJ Garrett gets the roll. Bates looking to push. Here's Hummel driving baseline, kicks it out to the corner. Good save there by Greenhall. Coyne now needs help. Give it for Nick Lynch. His 2 is off the mark. Rebounded by KJ Garrett.
And that was much better by Patrick Racy on getting out on that. They haven't been getting out on him, and beautiful basketball.
Pace, unfortunate bounce there. Rebounded by Lynch. Halfway mark here in the first half. Bates up 24-21. Hummel up and under won't go, but he was hacked. He will head to the free throw line.
That was a late call there. A little interesting. I thought he got away with that hack until the ref kind of blew the whistle after he saw it didn't go in.
Racy picks up the personal.
And there was a pass made by number 0, Greenhall. I'm going to attempt to say his name. That was kind of an underhanded pass that almost was picked off. Luckily, Bates was able to track it down. It's those passes that lead to the turnover issues that they've been having. They need to stay focused and make clean, crisp passes and just be smart and patient.
First free throw won't go. Second is good, though. A couple subs in for Tufts now. Everett Dayton back into the game as the primary ball handler. Here's Savage getting the Rogers screen. Underneath, he's looking for Rogers. Rogers finds the wide open Savage underneath for an easy 2.
And that was just really smart by Savage. He knew the ball was going to get there. He just hung out and was wide open. And that's when Bates has to see man and ball so those backdoor cuts don't happen.
Here's Coyne. Good ball movement here on the perimeter for Bates. Coyne with 7 to shoot. In the paint, puts it up, won't go. Lynch mistimed his jump. Here comes Savage. And we have a carry going against Tufts.
And that's when, if you're Savage, and Savage has been playing a great game, he's really smart, that's when you pull it out and just take your time. If there are 3 red jerseys back and it's just you, you're trying to force something that's not there. Just slow it down, bring it back, and avoid turnovers like that silly one.
Yeah, looking to go fast there. Just didn't have teammates in transition with him. Open 3. Greenhall knocks it down from range.
Yeah, and Bates has really been lighting it up from the 3-point line. They are 50%, shooting 3 of 6 on the night.
Kuyumidjan now out for Savage. Savage drives, puts it up, puts it in. Nice move midair by Savage.
And Savage wants a foul there. I don't think he should have been awarded one. I think refs made the right call.
As you mentioned earlier, good crowd here at Cousins Gymnasium. Not a lot of open seats, as that's an errant pass that goes out of bounds.
And that's what I was talking about. So number 0 again almost threw a turnover pass, and then that was just kind of an errant pass to no one. And as these mistakes that if Bates keeps making down the road will come back to haunt them. They may not haunt them now, but if Tufts keeps getting extra possessions, then this lead will be no longer, I feel like.
Freshman Brennan Morris into the game for the first time for the Jumbos. Vincent Pace puts it up, puts it in.
Just pick and roll there. It's bread and butter basketball.
Gilpin back into the game for Bates. Here's Frater. Puts up the long shot off the mark. Rebounded by Pace.
And it's interesting how long Jeff Spellman's been on the bench for. They've been needing offensive production. He's just been sitting there. He's not in foul trouble.
Savage attacking the rim off the mark. Rebounded by Gilpin. Unfortunate pass there as it bounced off the rim. Good effort there by Gilpin, nearly coming up with a possession for Bates. Instead, it's Tufts in transition. Here's Savage off the mark on a 3. Gets his own long rebound. Gives it up for Pace.
And he's not happy with himself. That's the thing as a shooter, though, is you can't get frustrated. You have to keep shooting, and they're eventually going to fall. He has open looks, and he's taking good ones.
Savage will drive closer this time. Puts it up, puts it in. Better success closer to the hoop for him. And that gives Tufts a 29-28 lead. Lynch, he knocks it down. It's a long 2-pointer. Here comes Dayton.
A little bit of a moving screen there. Number 32 for Tufts, Luke Rogers, has to be careful with moving there.
Got away with it and instead converts and makes it a 2-point possession here for the Jumbos, off the window and in. Rogers, the freshman from Boxborough, Mass. Underneath it's Frater, shot won't go. Gets his own rebound though. Greenhall, top of the key 3, off the mark. Rebounded there by Morris.
And Tufts has been getting rebounds, but it looks like they're stopping, not boxing out well enough, and they've just been lucky that the ball is falling where they are. And they need to box out. That's why I think Max Oppenheim is coming into the game to kind of give them a little bigger rebounder to put a body on someone.
Greenhall, wide open corner 3 off the mark. Tufts getting a bit fortunate here as Greenhall's had a couple open looks from range, just not knocking them down. As Dayton gets to Rogers. Rogers with a poor pass, intercepted by Gilpin. He saw that one coming all the way. There's Greenhall. Boy, he was open. And Coyne knocks down the 3 instead. I bet if Greenhall had made at least one of his previous 2 threes, he's taken that one, but good result nonetheless for Bates. And that causes a Tufts timeout. Knotted up at 33 here with 5:18 left in the first half.
And I think here in this timeout, if you're Coach Bob Sheldon, you kind of want to talk to Tufts and say, look, guard the 3-point line, slow it down, stop committing turnovers, and just play your game. They're getting good shots on the offensive end, but they're giving up a lot of points on the defensive end, especially from the 3-point line. So I think this is kind of just a regrouping timeout. Say, look, guard the line, play good defense, and box out, because I think he also sees the fact that Tufts is not boxing out because he was upset a few times on those plays. So look for them to box out, look for them to guard the 3-point line, and it's a tie game. So we have a good one here.
Absolutely. Tufts getting their production from just a few players, really. It's Eric Savage and Vincent Pace leading the way with 10 and 9 points respectively. Meanwhile, for Bates, they have, I believe, 5 players with 4 points or more leading the way.
And Spellman's back in the game. See if he can give Bates some offensive production here.
Morris gives up for Lapham. Savage, corner 3.
Ooh, and that's not good if you're Savage. He's already frustrated with himself, and he's even more frustrated. He just needs to keep shooting, though. That's the biggest thing as a shooter.
Here is the newly entered into the game Spellman. Little give and go. Lynch sets a high screen. Spellman drives baseline. Extra feed here. Strickland 3. Off the mark.
And while that didn't go, I think that's been the epitome of the game for Bates here, is making that extra pass and getting the wide open 3.
Extra pass for Tufts to Dayton won't go. Both teams a little cold from the perimeter. Mortimer thought about that bomb. Instead, he'll make the smart choice, pass to a teammate. Here's Spellman driving, kicking corner, extra feed. Up and under. Good job there by Lapham to get a piece of that.
Yeah, and I think Lapham got away with a little pull of the arm there. It was a good move by number 23, Nick Gilpin.
Here's Mortimer.
As those shot clocks. Spellman will take care of the shot clock and shoot a bomb.
Tufts looking to push and transition. Here's Dayton. Morris puts it up, puts it in.
That was a pretty jab step right there. He really got the defender on that one. He got me.
First 2 points of the game for Brennan Morris. Tufts back in front by 2. Spellman feeds it for Lynch, gets it back. Drives, puts it up, and he knocks it down. High arcing shot there by Spellman is good.
We're at a dogfight right here, just exchanging baskets. Both teams kind of need to lock it down on the defensive end.
Savage to Dayton. Here's Morris. Morris being guarded by Mortimer. He'll give it to Savage. Here's Dayton. Little step through and it goes for him. Quick 2 points there by Everett Dayton.
Bob Sheldon's not happy with the ref about something. I don't know if he wanted to foul there or what. But I didn't see a foul on that play.
Here's Gilpin. Lynch over Lapham. Off the mark.
And they like that little entry into the high post to number 15, Nick Lynch, and it's been working for them. He missed there. Ooh.
Poor pass there by Savage, and here comes Bates. Easy 2 points there by Spellman.
And if you're Savage there, you commit a turnover. You can't trot back. I know you've missed a few shots in a row and you just committed a turnover. You just got to play defense and get yourself back into this game. You can't take yourself out of it.
Morris with a long 2-pointer. Rolls out. Unfortunate roll there for Tufts. Here comes Strickland. Morris nearly jarred it loose. Instead, Strickland will peel out and reset. Here's Lynch. 8 to shoot. Strickland drives.
Ooh.
Step back, puts it up. Off the mark. Pretty move there. Just can't convert.
Yeah, that's the one that you feel obliged to hit because it's such a pretty move, and then you miss it. But great move.
Savage drives baseline, kicks it out. Oppenheim. Air ball.
It was a pass.
Might as well be a pass as Savage winds up with it. Oppenheim back in the post.
And see, Savage is now a little hesitant to shoot that. He had a wide open 3. Usually he'd let it go. And
Absolutely.
I think, a few misses are in his head. You just got to keep shooting. That's the biggest thing you can tell a shooter.
Strickland for Spellman. Spellman, nice move past Lapham. Easy 2 points. Bates back in front by 2. So we approach 1 minute left in this first half here. Lapham, high screen from Oppenheim. Here's Morris.
And Savage is actually leading scoring, and he's shooting 5 for 10 from the field goal percentage. So he's doing pretty well. He just is getting a little frustrated with himself.
Wow, that one slipped out of the hands of Oppenheim. Well over the head of his teammate. That's an unfortunate turnover for Tufts. And we have a timeout on the floor. 55.6 left in the first half. 30-second timeout.
And offense has been the story here, and we've seen a few wide open missed threes. defense, I just keep preaching it. Defense has to step up, or this game's just going to continue to be a dogfight. This game, if one team can limit the other to under 80 points, I'm saying they will be the winner. I think some team's going to score above 80 points, and that's my magic number for this game is 80.
Absolutely. We haven't really seen too many real defensive stops. It's been either, quick shots that just don't fall or poor passes that lead to turnovers.
Absolutely. Few steals, few blocks. And another thing, too, is we're not seeing a lot of boxing out. So.
Yeah, you're right. As you mentioned, Bates is 1-3 in the NESCAC. Tufts 3-1, but Bates playing very well so far. In fact, they have the 2-point lead here.
Yeah, and Bates is playing like they want to win this game. I think the 3-game losing skid is kind of hitting them hard, and I think they just came to this game determined to win.
Absolutely. Galloway back into the game for Bates.
Oh,
High
my
shot
God.
is good from Jeff Spellman. It looked like he was trying to bank that one in. Instead, it just kind of floated up in the air forever.
And if you could have seen the coach's face when he shot that, it was scary, but somehow I made it in.
8-second shot clock to game clock differential. Oh, Dayton was going for the alley-oop to KJ Garrett. So we have an offensive foul going against Tufts.
Yeah, it looks like they were calling a moving screen there maybe. Sneaky play there. That's always a fun play to run after halftime as well.
Bob Sheldon looking for an explanation.
And the ref looks like he's saying, I don't know.
Shot clock turned off so Bates can hold for one here, if they so choose. Tight D from Lapham.
Yeah, and Bob Sheldon is not happy right now.
Spellman now. 5 to shoot.
Oh.
Spellman looking to make a move off the hand of Mortimer and out of play. Tufts has 2.5 from just about half court to try and make something happen here. Maybe cut this to a 2 or 1 point game before the half. It's going to be KJ Garrett to get the ball in bounds.
They're not running any play. A little screen, a few dribbles.
Pace puts it up, off the mark.
Not a bad shot.
Absolutely. Had the distance just a little bit off to the left. So at the end of the first half, scores Bates leads by 4, 41-37. Pretty evenly matched up first half, if I say so myself. As we were talking about, it's really been an offensive battle thus far. We'll see if anything changes in the second half.
Absolutely. The rest have been calling this game kind of loosely, so we'll see. It's been a pretty quick game, and besides the turnover, slowing down the clock, and we'll be back after halftime.
Absolutely.
play good quality basketball. And for Bates, they need to keep up their movement on offense and just step it up a little bit on the defensive end.
Your leading scorers at the half for Bates, it's Jeff Spellman. He's got 14 points, shooting 7 of 9 from the field, 0 for 1 from three-point range. As for Tufts, it's Eric Savage with 10 points, 5 of 10 from the field. He hasn't hit a 3 yet on 4 shot attempts. And Vinny Pace is right behind him with 9 points. After that's pretty significant drop-off. Everett Dayton and KJ Garrett have 4 apiece for Tufts.
Yep.
And then for Bates, we see Lynch, Hummel, and Strickland with 6, 6, and 5 respectively.
And I know Bates is 8 and 9, but they just seem like really well coached by John Furbish. A little break action here.
Yeah, quick whistle. Something wrong with the scores table, I believe.
Probably something with the clock. The shot clock and the game clock don't match.
That's right. See the lineups on the floor for you right now. We've got Strickland, Lynch, Gilpin. We also have Mortimer and Spellman for Bates. As for Tufts, we've got Savage, Racy, I believe Lapham, Dayton, and Vincent Pace. It's the 5 out there for both teams.
And something else, too, Tufts must guard the line. Bates killed them from the three-point line. They're shooting the ball really well. They must get out on all shooters and close out, move your feet, and just get there.
This is Mortimer with it, working on Savage. Off the window, won't go. Rebound controlled by Racy.
That was a beautiful box out there by Racy.
Here's Dayton. Feeds it for Vincent Pace. Nice spin move off the window and in for 2.
And that's something I've been wanting them to do all game. Between Vinny Pace and number 15, Patrick Racy, they've been posting up. They've been really working hard down low and sealing their defenders, but they're not getting the ball. And so look for Tufts to feed it down low.
Drive by Gilpin, cut off there. And Spellman shot off of the hand of Vincent Pace.
And from here, and I'm not on the court, but from here, it looks like it might even hit Spellman's hand on the way out. I don't know, interesting call there.
No real argument there from Pace. Here's Mortimer. Strickland with it, gets a screen from Lynch. Feeds Lynch long, 2-pointer. Rolls out, rebounded by Dayton, and here he comes. Dayton, good for Savage. In the corner now. 3 by Pace is off the mark. Tracked down by Strickland.
And seldom for this game to see Bob Sheldon sitting down.
Yeah.
Just kind of taking it easy, laughing, and we haven't seen much of that this game.
Gilpin for Mortimer. His 3 is off the mark. Pace with another rebound. And once again, Dayton looking to push. So Savage trying to make a move.
Carry. Ooh.
Nope, they're going to get a foul on Bates. A little bump, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it was a bump before the carry, but he got lucky there.
Fouls called on Bates, number 23, Nick Gilpin.
Nick Gilpin's the one who's picking up the personal. His first of the game.
Yep, and the Bob Sheldon sitting down didn't last too long. He's up and about.
Underneath, it's Pace. Puts it up and in. Somehow, Sean Strickland, I suppose, avoided contact, but he hit the deck pretty hard, and he's currently down. But looks like he's going to be able to get to his feet. And looks like he's going to stay in the game here. So he gets a hand from the crowd. I'm not sure how Strickland avoided contact. He really committed himself in the air, but somehow Pace was able to avoid him, I guess. And fortunate for Bates, it wasn't a potential three-point play.
Yeah, he's shaking off. He's grimacing a little bit there.
Here he is with the ball.
Moving just fine. I think he'll be okay.
Here's Spellman. Lynch with the high screen. Spellman kicks it out. Mortimer with it. Quickly collapse on by Savage. Strickland, 5 to shoot. Something has to happen for Bates. Mortimer's 3 is good. Fortunate there for Bates as the shot clock was down to 2 as he shot that ball. But they'll take it nonetheless.
They've been going deep into the shot clock, but contrary to Tufts, they've been getting pretty good shots.
Feed it in. And that's good for Patrick Racy.
That was a great play. Just as I was saying, they weren't getting good shots. What a great shot.
Right in the low post. He had a good matchup there and converts.
look for them to keep going down into the post. It's something, like I said before, they should have been doing all game.
As Strickland takes a three. Too strong off the back of the iron. Rebounded by Pace.
Bates is a little cold from the three-point line. Start the second half here.
Pace's floater won't go. Racy unable to get the rebound. Up ahead Spellman, he's got numbers. Corner three by Mortimer is good. That's the old announcer's curse, I suppose.
Yep. Well, they're wide open shots, and they've been getting good shots, Bates has been. So eventually they're going to fall.
Savage, he'll take. Rolls out.
And again, it just seems like Savage is thinking about his shot too much. He usually lets the game come to him and shoots the open shot. He hesitated there, made it a harder shot for himself.
Yeah, he had an attempt on the first one, did a little pump fake, and then took the three.
So he's now 0 for 5 from the three-point line, but he's shooting 5 for 11. So he's doing a field goal percentage great.
Dayton pull-up pop is good. Bates up 47-45, 4 minutes gone by in the second half. Spellman with a switch on Racy.
Good double team there.
Strickland trying to get around two Jumbo's defenders. His pass in the corner intended for Gilpin, just a little bit out of his reach, out of bounds.
That was a smart play. You know, the pass wasn't there, but that's a really challenging pass to be able to loop it around the defender to get into the corner. Right idea, though.
Couple subs for both teams here. Eli Frater into the game for Bates. KJ Garrett comes in, as well as Rogers and Bowser, it looks like.
See if KJ Garrett can get something going here. Like I said, he only has 4 points.
Here's Pace in the corner for Bowser. Dayton. Give it back. Pace for three. Won't go. Bowser right there for the rebound. Back out to Dayton. Dayton nearly has it stripped. Feeds it for Pace. Pace in the paint, puts it up, off the window and in for two. This game is knotted up at 47 apiece.
Yep, and one of the keys to the game at the top of the broadcast that I mentioned is points in the paint. And Bates did a good job of keeping Tufts out of the paint, but now they're starting to struggle with that. I think that's 6 straight points from the painted area, so they want to be careful and cognizant of that.
Spellman, corner three by Mortimer is off the mark. Bowser nearly has it taken away by Lynch. He moves up the court for Dayton. KJ Garrett, corner three, off the mark. Tracked down by Garrett. Garrett goes up. Easy two for him. And Tufts has a 49-47 lead. It's going to prompt Bates to take a timeout.
And Furbush is not happy. There were 3 white jerseys and 0. I think kind of Bates just wanted to leak out and maybe start a fast break there and forgot to rebound. That'll have a coach nightmare. But I think both teams are kind of sticking to their game plan now. Like I said before, Tufts is doing a great job getting the ball in the paint, into the post, and getting easy shots, whereas Bates is sticking to the three, making threes, and both teams are really keeping the ball well. And Tufts is doing a great job of boxing out. So I think we're in for a thriller here. I think it's going to be a tight one down to the wire, and defense is stepping up a little bit. Some missed shots have helped, but we're looking pretty good from both teams. So
good offensive rebounding for Tufts. That's helping them outscore Bates by 6 to start the second half here.
And Spellman's on the court taking a little water. He must be a little gassed, so we'll see how that plays into this second half as we're 5 minutes into it.
Yeah, Spellman with 14 points for the Bobcats. Still have 14:33 left to go. Pass out of bounds. Tufts will get possession right back.
And that was a pass to no one. Those are the turnovers that we talked about in the first half. It's one thing if a ball is stolen, a good defensive play. But when you're just throwing it out of bounds to no one, those are the mental mistakes that you can't have. Sure, you can have 1 or 2 a game, but they really add up, and they can't expect to win the game. They keep, kind of haphazardly throwing the ball out of bounds.
Senior guard Kenny Adigwe in for the first time today for the Jumbos. Bowser gets it to KJ Garrett. In the corner, here's Pace. Defender lays off him, puts it up, won't go. Rogers offensive rebound, off the window, and gets the roll for 2.
And that was a big play by Luke Rogers right there, the freshman.
Bowser with an aggressive play, nearly getting a free possession there for the Jumbos. Instead, he's whistled for a reach-in. It's not necessarily what you want for Tufts, but you can't really fault him. That was a really good effort.
And that was an interesting progression there. It looks like number 1 for Bates, Eli Frater, kind of was grabbing him and kind of attacking him, and it looked like almost like a retaliation foul. We'll see how that plays up, that matchup there. A little tension brewing here. It's a close game.
Here's Frater. Hummel
missed Frater down low, wide open.
Spellman with it. He'll put it up. And that goes over the backboard, out of bounds.
Bad shot. I know he's shooting the ball pretty well, but you need to work the ball around and get it inside and get a wide open 3 as if they've been doing all game instead of forcing it. I know he's hot, but just work the ball around.
Eric Savage getting ready to check back in for the Jumbos.
Well, KJ got away with the travel there.
Pace working his way in the paint, flips it up and in. Another timeout for Bates.
I think that was a Tufts timeout.
Oh, Tufts timeout?
I think it's a regroup timeout. I think Bob Sheldon just kind of wants to settle his team down. They're on a little run here, and play defense is the biggest message. Keep the lead, don't do anything silly, and keep pushing the ball and keep getting the ball in the paint. Now, if you're Bates here, you're trying to stick to your game plan. You're trying not to allow Tufts into the paint. You're trying to front the postman and have the help on his backside, which they haven't been doing at all. Tufts has done a great job in the post of sealing defenders. So look to Tufts to keep going in the middle and look for Bates to try to front the post and be a little more aggressive down low.
Yeah, the Tufts lead has grown to 6. I believe that's their largest lead of the game. Vincent Pace leading the way now with 17 points. It's really been a battle between Spellman and Pace.
Absolutely. While KJ hasn't been that active, he is 3 for 5. So when he's shooting shots, he's been shooting the ball very well. Same with Vinny Pace. He's 8 for 16.
Here is Jeff Spellman. Looking to get around a Digway. Puts it up. Puts it in. 16 points on the afternoon now for Spellman. Savage for KJ Garrett. Garrett spinning in the paint, puts it up, won't go, but he's heading to the free throw line.
And it was a little play there by KJ. He kind of slowed. Tufts was a little haphazard, and it looked like a turnover was kind of brewing. And he, the senior, just kind of took his time, thought everything through, and then attacked. And so that little bit of hesitation kind of let everyone catch their breaths and kind of see the floor. So he's at the free throw line now.
Rattles home the first. As Bates will make a substitution. Coin into the game. He's replacing James Mortimer. And Garrett connects on his 2 free throws. I believe that's the first time a player from either team has made both of their free throw attempts.
Absolutely.
Spellman looking for help and says he's going to drive. Dish out in the corner. Frater for 3. Well short. Not what he wanted to do on that possession there.
Yeah, but when you see KJ Garrett running at you, that's what you do. You shoot the ball short.
Miles Bowser trying to answer. Instead, it's a dig away with the offensive board.
Little guy getting in there.
Yeah, beating Lynch. Good for him.
KJ wants to shoot this.
And he does. Well off the mark.
You can see in his eyes that he had a predetermined shot. Usually what that happens when players start doing that is they force up a bad shot.
Absolutely.
Like that one there. And that's a travel.
Too many steps for Hummel. Tufts gets possession right back. We've seen a lot of Bates turnovers here in the second half. That's really been helping Tufts, at first take back the lead and then extend their lead.
And as Patrick Racy checks back in here, really shout out to Luke Rogers. He's been playing physical in the second half, and he had that great offensive rebound with the putback there. So look for more from him as we continue in the season.
Bowser drives, won't go. Rebounded by Lynch. Nice play there by Coyne to save it.
KJ's been really aggressive these last few minutes on the defensive end.
Absolutely. Spellman floats it up off the mark. Might have forced that one a little bit, but nonetheless, here comes Savage.
Good pass.
Racy can't convert the layup. Ball still loose. Bowser gets it. He puts it back up. It won't go, but he's heading to the free throw line.
And that's Bates not boxing out. We've seen that a few times. There's that one play where 3 white jerseys were down under the basket and there were no Bates players. Bates really has to put a body on someone and get them out of the lane. When you have point guards, one of the shortest people on the team, getting rebounds over your center, you're not boxing out well enough. So find someone, get a body on them, or you're not going to get back into this game.
First free throw's off the mark. We see Tufts is out offensive rebounding Bates by a total of 9-2. And that's huge when you have such a close game, 6-point game right now. That 7 offensive rebound differential really making a huge difference.
Well, and Tufts has 12 points off those second chances, whereas Bates has 0 second chance points. And that's the difference in the game. I mean, it's a 6-point game, and so those 12 points are huge.
Bowser with an empty trip to the line. Spellman being harassed by Kenny Digway. Here's Lynch. Bates needed that one for sure.
And Lynch really likes that shot. They look for him a lot in the high post, and he likes to take that shot.
Here's Savage driving. Shot blocked there by Lynch. Frater comes up with the ball up ahead now. Here's Hummel. Up and under. Won't go, but he's heading to the stripe.
And Miles Bowser got a little lucky there because he didn't really foul him too hard. If you're going to foul someone on a fast break like that, you want to make sure that you get their arms and you have to go for a ball so it's not flagrant. But if you kind of bump them and let them still get a pretty good shot off, that's when you're risking and-1.
Absolutely.
And that's a total momentum shift if that ball goes in the basket just now.
Hummel doesn't get the bounce. Free throws so important in this game, and we're seeing Bates come up empty on what should be a free point right there.
Absolutely, and Bates is a strong free throw shooting team. I believe they shoot about 80% on the season, if I'm remembering correctly. There's one rattle in there.
So Hummel splits a pair. This is a 3-point game with 10:50 left.
They also haven't gotten to the line very much because they seem to be a 3-point shooting team. They're not attacking too much.
Savage working on Spellman. Feeds Racy. Racy over Lynch. Won't go. Not sure if Lynch got a piece of that, but staying right here with Tufts. So someone on Bates must have gotten a hand on it.
And I think that was number 0, Cody Greenhall. I think the issue is he's coming right off the bench, and, it's a little just not fresh.
Kuyu Midgen finds Savage. Good pass there. And Savage with an easy layup.
Savage for 2.
Spellman to Coyne.
And Vinny Pace has a quiet 17 points.
Absolutely. Good feed there by Coyne into Lynch. And Lynch was switched on Savage. He had no problem flipping that one up for 2. Racy to Pace. Racy, long 2-pointer. Off the mark, but he was fouled by Lynch.
It'll be interesting to see if they call this on the floor or as an act of shooting. He's saying it was during the shot. That was interesting. I think Vinny Pace had already come down. I'm sorry, Patrick Racy had already come down. That's an interesting call for a shooting foul, but we'll take it.
And once again, off the mark on the free throw. They might be saying that Lynch just didn't give Racy enough room to land. I know that's huge in the NBA these days, trying to avoid those bad leg injuries.
And those are the worst fouls, too, is after someone has already shot the ball and then you foul them. You just, it's awful.
Racy splits from the line.
And that's 3 on Lynch, actually. So it'll be interesting. He actually went to the bench with 9 minutes, just over 9 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, we've got Sonny Piplani in the game for Bates for the first time. Setting the screen there for Spellman. Hummel drives, has it taken away there by Kenny Adigwe. Good hustle play there by the senior.
And John Furbish just looked at the ref who said that it was tipped. John Furbish looked literally at the ref and said, "No way."
The referee's going to go to the scorer's table, I believe. Or is he just having a chat with Bob Sheldon?
Oh, I think they might be seeing whether or not the shot clock should restart.
That's right.
I don't think Tufts ever had possession, so it's the right call.
Bates will have 11 to shoot.
Eric Savage just had to try to shoot a little bit.
Coyne gets in for Piplani. Spellman back to Coyne.
Ooh.
Coyne all the way. Won't go. Good defense there. from Tufts' Kuyumidjan.
It was a nice move, though.
Pace driving all the way and throws it down with the right hand. Vincent Pace on a rack attack.
And this gym just went crazy.
What a play there. You don't usually expect that out of Vinny Pace.
Well, also, too, he just kind of, the help gave up on him. He just blew right by the help, and it's almost like they were scared of that happening. When you're scared of getting dunked on, you're going to end up getting dunked on.
Kuyumidjan for 3, no good. This gym was about to explode.
And that was a little forced.
Spellman up the other way. Easy, too. Well done. Yeah, and as you mentioned, that Kuyumidjan 3 off the mark, that's a 5-point differential right there as Spellman able to convert. Here's Racy, puts it up, off the mark. Corner with the rebound. We'll see if this is a little spark here, little burst here for Bates.
Yep.
Up ahead. That's just unfortunate. Hummel unable to grab it.
A little bit of tension between number 24, Max Hummel, and Kuyumidjan. We always love saying his name, and we get it for another 3 years.
Exactly.
Because he's a freshman, so.
Dayton back into the game now for the Jumbos as the primary ball handler.
Like I said before, it's really who can keep the other team under 75, 80 points is what it looks like it's going to be in this game.
Pace gets the roll. He's got 21 points on the day now. Tufts leads by 6. 8 minutes left in the second half. Spellman being guarded by Bowser.
And he's done a great job. He's very feisty on the defensive end. A great help there, too.
Coyne, long 3. Off the mark. Rebounded by Pace. Up ahead, Dayton pull-up pop is good. Tufts with their largest lead of the day. It's 8 points. And Bates takes a timeout.
I've done a lot of these games, and I haven't seen a gym this full and come this alive. So Tufts is really feeling it right now, and I think they can ride this home court advantage for the win. So they need to keep taking good shots and not trying to rush it. And on the other end, even the wide open 3 there, what they have to do, if they're going to help, they must be able to get back and close out on these 3-point shooters. There's a couple threes, and Bates is right back in this game. I mean, 7:39 is a lot of time to play. So this game's not by any means sealed. So Tufts needs to keep doing what they've been doing, getting the ball low, getting the ball in the paint. And Bates needs to start hitting shots and guard the paint a little better and stay focused.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about the home court that Tufts has. Of course, you know, second half of the season for both these teams. It's getting closer to playoff time. If Tufts is able to host a NESCAC game or host an NCAA tournament game, this gym will be packed for sure. I know last year it was a great atmosphere when Tufts was doing so well, eventually getting knocked out to the eventual champions. But the crowd has certainly come alive here on this Saturday afternoon. So Tufts leads by 8. We'll see if Bates is able to come up with something out of that timeout here.
This is a big possession right here for Bates. It kind of could silence the crowd and get them back into within striking distance.
Spellman drives, floats it up, too short, gets his own rebound. Kick it out. Greenhall knocks down the 3.
And we've talked about how he's missed a few open shots. Well, he chose a huge time to finally knock one down.
And there are those second chance points that we were talking about earlier. Finally breaks in the favor of Bates. Dayton for Bowser. Bowser drives, flicks it up, won't go. And oh man, that's just not good by Greenhall. He had plenty of time to set his feet, and instead he was midair and tried to flip it up for Spellman, and that just won the second row of the crowd.
And we've seen that a few times from him. I know he's coming off the bench. He just needs to settle down, take his time, and just let the game come to him. He seems like a little nervous, and that happens when you come off the bench.
Yeah, with 7 minutes left, no need for that. Up top, KJ Garrett throwing it down from Dayton on the alley-oop.
And if you're Bates there, you can't let that happen, especially with this gym, the way it's packed. That's a huge momentum shifter.
Yeah, you can't let KJ Garrett have a clean path to the hoop. Anytime he's got space, he's a threat to just throw it down like he did just there. Spellman for Greenhall in the corner.
Another
He's
big
hot.
three.
Heating up. 6 quick points for Cody Greenhall.
But he can't find his man.
Dayton going coast to coast, won't go.
That was really lucky right there for Bates because that was just blown assignments and lucky on the missed layup there.
Greenhall, why not? That's why not.
Yeah,
Terrible.
I was just going to say that.
That was a heat check. I mean, it was a decent shot. He set his feet just well off the mark.
Absolutely.
Number Tufts, number 13, Vincent Pace. Number 33, Eric Savage.
He's a sophomore, so he's still developing.
Absolutely.
And he just, I think as he matures, those shots won't be taken so early, and those, just throw little small things won't happen as much.
Savage looking to drive on Coyne.
And they need that. And they need these free throws right here. They're in a little bit of a drought offensively. They haven't been scoring the ball as well.
Fouls called on Bates, number 14.
It looks as if Tufts is going to keep, if they keep playing the way they've been playing, they're going to keep Bates under 80 points. And I think that's going to be the difference in this game.
Tufts now in the bonus. See if they maybe attack the rim a little bit more throughout this final 5:58 of the second half. As Savage knocks down the first.
So there's something interesting with the scoreboard here. The B came on as if the Tufts were in the bonus, but it says that Bates only has 5 team fouls. So that's a little interesting. A little miscommunication there on the scoreboard.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out as this game winds down. Lynch back into the game for Bates, spinning. Nice little move there, flicking it up and in.
He also seems to hit shots when they really need shots. It's 12 points, but they've been a huge 12.
Pace doesn't use the Rogers screen. Instead, he puts it up, well off the mark.
That's not the shot you want there.
Coyne tracks it down. Down 4, here comes Bates.
Like I said, Bates has been guarding the paint really well and hitting shots, and I told you if they do that, they're back in this game.
Coyne using the Lynch screen. He's switched on with Rogers. He'll put up the 3, and he gets the roll to go. We've got a 1-point game. Savage coming up the floor in a hurry. Passes out to Dayton.
And this crowd has gone dead silent.
Dayton spinning, puts it up, puts it in.
Oh, electrified a little bit. See what Spellman can do here.
Spellman working around Dayton. Coyne gets Garrett to commit. Lynch, long 2-pointer.
Ooh.
In and out. That's been his sweet spot all game.
Absolutely.
Tough break there for the Bobcats. And we have a timeout. Tufts.
And I think this is kind of just like I've been saying all game. I think these timeouts have kind of been a regroup timeouts. Nothing to stop a run or anything. Just kind of calm down, kind of play out the next 4 minutes and 25 seconds of this game. Attack the basket, get the ball in the paint is what Bob Sheldon is saying to his team. And for Bates, I think the whole game relies on whether or not they continue to hit shots. And unfortunately, as a three-point shooting team and giving up so many points, you have to be able to trade buckets. And if they're not able to do that down the stretch, the same thing goes for Tufts. If they're not able to do that down the stretch, they're not going to win this game. And so the biggest thing is defense and getting good shots off. Whatever team does that is going to have the best chance of winning this game.
Absolutely. 4:25 left in the second half. Tufts up by 3. And we haven't seen too much in the way of Jeff Spellman. He's missed a couple shots down the stretch. If he can get going, that could be a huge factor
Absolutely.
in the outcome of this game.
Absolutely. And just a little bit of reset for you here. Tufts does have the possession arrow in their favor. And as we said before, we don't know if Tufts is in the bonus or not. With 4:25 left here, it's a 70-67 lead for Tufts.
Here's Rogers. KJ Garrett thought about the 3, passed to Savage instead. Underneath, Rogers had trouble getting that ball, bodies on the ground, and looks like a Bates player touched that ball while he was on the line, so it's going to stay with Tufts.
Absolutely, and I mentioned this too about Luke Rogers. He's had a fantastic game, but he seems to be just a little hesitant when he catches the ball down low. and it's allowing hands to get in there. He has to catch it and go right up. That's something as he continues to develop, he will certainly want to work on. Because he has the height. He just needs to go up strong.
Well, he is a freshman getting some big clutch time minutes here as Pace drives, puts it up, and an opportunity for a three-point play. Big play there by Vinny Pace.
And Tufts really needed that because they've been struggling a little bit offensively. See this ignite the whole team a little bit.
Vinny Pace looking to make this a 6-point game. Just over 4 minutes left to go. He knocks it down. Calm, cool, and collected.
Absolutely. He's been there before. Big possession here for Bates.
Gilpin back into the game, as is Mortimer. Coyne, 3 is good.
And he's just been keeping them in this game. We didn't see too much from him in the first half, but he's hit a few threes here and kind of sparked this Bates team.
Savage shot sent by our cheerleaders over here. That was Nick Lynch who got the hand on it. Good switch by Lynch. KJ Garrett re-enters. Rogers for Dayton. Pace thought about the 3 and said it's going to be KJ Garrett taking it. Off the mark, Rogers with an offensive rebound. Spinning in the paint.
It's a walk.
Yep, got him for a travel.
And that's, again, a little bit of hesitation there. If he would have gone straight out the first time, he would have either gotten fouled or gotten the bucket. And the worst case is in those scenarios is you get your shot blocked out of bounds. You know, you shouldn't be afraid to go up with it. You're tall and you have a decent build, so you just go into them and get the layup. And a full timeout taken here.
Yeah, timeout Bates. It's unfortunate for Rogers. You'd love to see him be aggressive there, get the offensive rebound, just trying to go straight back up. You know, in retrospect, you would have loved to see him just kick it out and maybe Tufts can reset, but you know, you can't go back, and those mistakes are just part of the game. He'll learn from it.
Absolutely. And not to beat a dead horse here, but I keep saying whatever team gets to 80 first is going to win this game, and if it even helps if they can keep the other team under 80. If they can keep the other team under 80, there's no way that they won't win this game. So
Absolutely.
We'll see. Just a little bit of reset. We did get a correction here on the fouls. Bates only does have 16 fouls, so the next foul will be a 1-and-1 for Tufts. Tufts only has 2 team fouls. Tufts has 3 timeouts left, whereas Bates has 2. And just something I just noticed is number 15, Lynch, picked up his 4th foul on that last play.
Yeah.
So he's playing. So we'll see if Tufts can attack him and see if they can get him out of the game. A big presence.
Yeah, Lynch has had a big impact on this game, both offensively and defensively. For know a big man of his size, he's got a really good stroke from just inside the 3-point line. It'd be really big if Bates lost that.
This is where you definitely don't want to turn over if you're Bates. And
Here's Spellman.
If you're Tufts, you want to make sure you guard the line here.
Try to feed inside Lynch, who's being held by Rogers.
That was a smart foul by Rogers. He didn't have the size advantage. He wasn't in front, and he knew that he was about to get beat, so he gave a little tug. If the refs don't see it, great, you get the ball, and if they do, it's a good foul. So smart play by the freshman there.
Yeah, only three team fouls for Tufts. Coming up on 3 minutes left to play. Here's Coyne. Spellman. He was bumped by, I believe that was a Digway. Side out Bobcats.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to run a screen play here to get a wide open 3 off the inbounds. But instead they opt just to get the ball in bounds.
Here's Spellman. Looking to drive.
Ooh.
Just lost it there. And a Digway's bumped by Coyne. I'm not sure if Coyne was back. Could potentially be a clear path, but looks like they're just going to get him with a common foul. And it looks like a Digway will be heading to the line for a 1-and-1.
These are big free throws here with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left.
Just to make it a 2-possession game.
And
well off the mark. Boy, that's not Must have slipped out of his hand. That's not what a Digway wanted to do at all.
And going back to this play down here, it looked like Spellman was almost hugged by a Tufts player. I can't remember who. And that's why he threw that bad pass. And a missed call there by the refs. Still a 3-point game, 1-possession game. Tufts in the lead. But maybe not for long.
His 3 rattles home, and we're all knotted up at 73. Boy, Tom Coyne's really played a huge role in getting Bates back into this game. A couple big 3s down the stretch.
And now the Bates bench is getting more lively than this Tufts crowd is right now.
Dayton's pass winds up with pace underneath Rogers, off the window and in.
And that is what he must do. I think he can hear the broadcast. He must have some headphones in. But he needs to go straight up like he did there, and I'm really proud of him for doing so.
We got 2 minutes left in the second half. Tufts looking for a big stop. Here's Gilpin driving over Rogers. He gets it to go.
And Rogers has played some huge minutes here. And I don't know why Racy has sat on the bench for so long. He doesn't seem to be in foul trouble to my knowledge.
Pace doesn't use the Rogers screen. Instead flips it out. Dayton for 3.
Big shot.
Just short. Big rebound there by Gilpin. Ball pops up in the air and Tufts gets it back. Boy, you can't do that if you're Bates. Gilpin had it with a chance to bring his team down the court, with a chance to take the lead. Instead, Tufts with a free possession here.
And we'll see if Racy checks back in here. I have a hard time believing that he would not check in. The minute 20 left, 17 fouls for Bates and only 4 for Tufts. 2 timeouts each team. And down the stretch, like I've been saying the whole time, it's a race to 80 at this point. Whatever team can make free throws and make shots down the stretch are going to be the team who wins. So I think if you're in the Tufts huddle right now, they're drawing up a few plays that they can run, down the stretch, whereas Bates is preaching defense and just not to turn the ball over and play their game. So we got a nail biter here. Stay tuned. Once these teams break the timeout, we'll have a good one down the stretch.
All knotted up at 75. Tufts with possession. They also have the possession arrow. That's obviously big down the stretch here. Minute 20 left to go. And it looks like Rogers will be going back out there. So
I don't know if something's wrong with Racy or it's just Bob Sheldon has faith in the freshman. Yeah, well, Racy's not in foul trouble. Interesting.
Here's Rogers. Pace for 3. Too short. Rogers, big offensive rebound. Ball on the ground. We're going to have a jump.
And it goes to Tufts.
Yeah, that's where that possession arrow is so big. Rogers limping a little bit, but good job to get his hands on the ball. If you're Tufts, you can live with that outcome as they do have the possession arrow. And referees are having a bit of a discussion here. Looks like Max Hummel will check in for the Bobcats. He's going to replace Coyne.
This looks like an offense-defense substitution
absolutely.
here. Would be surprised. Coyne sat right where he's sitting.
Yep. Yeah, he's been so hot from deep, you'd expect him to be back in this game when Bates has the ball. Dayton to inbounds. He's guarded by Spellman.
I'm honestly not a huge fan of the offense-defense substitutions. You kind of lose a rhythm. You go to the bench and sit down. You kind of feel like you're not good enough to play defense or offense or vice versa. So I haven't always been a huge fan of that strategy.
Bates does gain some height with KJ Garrett in for Tufts. You do need someone taller to guard him, perhaps. This here is Savage with it. 10 to shoot. Leaves Dayton with it. Dayton spinning. Tried to feed Rogers, instead it's Lynch with the ball.
And once again, I've been saying all night, Lynch always seems to step up when Bates has needed him to, and that was a huge play right there.
And here's the Bates timeout. They'll have an opportunity to draw something up. Probably get Coyne back into this game. And boy, it seems like it's not just Bob Sheldon who's got trust in Rogers. It's also his teammates. They're trying to feed him down low to put the Jumbos up by 2. Under a minute left. Unfortunately, just a poor pass for the Jumbos.
The good news for the Jumbos is the fact that they're going to get another possession. So if they play this out right and don't foul and don't commit a silly foul, they will have a chance to either tie it up or take the lead on the last possession. So smart the way they kind of timed this game, and I think that's part of the way the timeout was discussed, whereas they will get the last shot. So no matter what,
Absolutely.
they'll have a chance to tie it, which is great.
Yeah, just under 37 seconds left to play. Shot clock reads 24. So as you mentioned, barring a silly mistake or an offensive rebound, Tufts should have an opportunity to possess the ball.
And I believe the possession arrow is wrong the way it reads
I think you're right.
at the moment. Tufts did try to call a timeout, but I don't think they were awarded the timeout. So I think it was, in fact, a jump ball, and the ball should be going to Bates should there be a tie-up.
And interestingly enough, Bates has the ball in the Jumbo's half of the court, and yet Tom Coyne's still on the bench here.
Absolutely.
I'm a little surprised by that. Gilpin gets in for Spellman.
And this is a lot of pressure on Bates right here because they know they won't get the ball back. And if they don't get a good shot here, they're going to have to guard.
Spellman working this clock down, 10 to shoot.
Spellman's trying to make a big play here.
This is Gilpin driving, flips it up. Gets the roll as the shot clock expires. Here goes Tufts, not using that timeout. Savage up the court, and they will call a timeout in their own half. What a play there.
Absolutely. Got the friendly roll. And if you're Tufts here, you're not going to be too concerned. You just need to take your time. You do want to get a shot off within the first 4 or 5 seconds, however, because you just want to have time to be able to foul and have a chance to get another shot off if need be. So they do have one timeout left, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get a shot off within the first 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Have 5 seconds or so to be able to get a foul off and see if they can get Bates to miss at the free throw line like they have been all night.
Look for if you get that shot off quickly, give yourself an opportunity for an offensive rebound.
But the issue with Tufts here is they don't have enough time because they only have 4 team fouls.
Yeah.
And so if they miss here, if they foul, they're not going to be able to get Bates to the free throw line. They're just going to have to keep fouling it. By the time they do that, the clock will be run out. So Tufts really needs a basket here to win this game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they ran an inbound play that went to Vinny Pace or Dayton from three-point line or even Eric Savage. So they have a lot of options they can run here, and I'm sure there will be a few screens that will get an open three. If that open three is not there, there will be a roll and see if they can get an easy shot at the basket. So plenty of time. 9 seconds is an eternity in basketball.
Are we headed to overtime, or does Tufts have a late game winner in them? Here we go. Dayton with it.
There's the pick. There's the screen.
Dayton feeds it underneath. Pace. Savage lost it. Garrett puts it up. Won't go. And that's the ball game. Bates comes away with a big victory over Tufts.
And I said it. Whatever team can hold 75, 80 points. Tufts
right.
scored 75 points, and that's why Bates won this game. Tufts couldn't keep up with their offense.
Boy, Pace got right under the basket, just kind of jumped up in the air, didn't really have anywhere to go. He saw Savage, ball slipped through his hands, and KJ Garrett was there to clean it up, but unfortunately, a fadeaway shot, well short, and that gives Bates a big victory. They moved to 2-3 in the NESCAC, 9-9 overall, That snaps their 3-game losing streak. As for Tufts, they move to 12-5 overall, 3-2 in the NESCAC. Coming up next for these two teams, Bates plays January 26th at Wesleyan, followed by January 27th game at Conn College. Meanwhile, for Tufts, they play January 22nd at Leslie, and then January 26th at Conn College. Final score here from Cousins Gymnasium. Bates Bobcats 77, Tufts Jumbo 75. My name is Lucas Johnson. For Francis Simmons and the rest of the JumboCast crew, thank you for joining us. Have a great afternoon and evening.